is a voiceover video. If you feel uncomfortable, then you can mute it. It's a boy novel fan fiction. If you're homophobic, kindly leave. Remember, it's just a fan fiction, don't take it serious. And if I do any mistake in voiceover, then please forgive me. Oh, the party is grand though. Of course, after all, Parks and Mins are going to bind in a relation. But why no one is here yet? I mean, Jimin and Yoongi? They must be spending some time together, baby. Stop running, your bunny brain. They're getting ready. I can't believe you're siblings. Why no one knew about it? Because they are perfect at hiding things. Right, Van? What? And Sumin, I never ever imagined her to be your sister. Don't you like her? It's nothing like that. She is my younger sister and I do love and care about her. It's just, she's stubborn. I don't know how many things you're still hiding. He shook his head and chugged the glass of juice. Guys, it's the party for Yoonmin's engagement. Almost 10 days passed since their fathers announced their engagement. And now is the day. Just some close guests and friends were invited here as they didn't want to publish it in news. I didn't see Hobby. Where is he? Yes, where is he, Van? How could I know? She said nervously, breaking the eye contact, and sipped the juice. It's because they didn't tell them all that they are in a relationship. Are you two in a benefit relationship? He whispered in her ears, making Vine choke on her juice. Just then, Hobby came there and caressed her back, finding her in that condition. What happened to you? Are you alright? I'm alright. Hobby made her sit on the chair beside. She glared at Jungkook, who looked away like he did nothing. Here, Taeyong bought her a glass of simple water, as he knew Jungkook must have said something stupid. She drank a little and confirmed that she is alright. Time skip. So everyone, please welcome Min Yoongi and Park Jimin, the charm of the party. Everyone started cheering for them. Yoongi and Jimin stood there on the stage under the spotlight. Shall we start the engagement ceremony, Mr. Min? Jimin nodded with a smile, who was sitting on a chair along with Mrs. Min. On the other side, Jimin's family members were sitting along with Mr. Park, Mrs. Park, Vine and Sumin. Mrs. Park had to come because it was about their reputation. But Mr. Park didn't ask her to come as he doesn't care if she comes or not. And here, Sumin was all burning in fire, but she wasn't showing it on her face to maintain her image in front of them. Please. A man came there with 2 ring boxes on a beautiful tray, all covered with flowers. Jimin put the ring on Yoongi's ring finger, and they heard the clapping sound. Then Yoongi held his hand softly and once gazed in his eyes before sliding the ring on his finger. Everyone cheered for them and congratulated them. I'd like to invite the couple on the stage for a couple dance. Both went on the dance floor. Yoongi held Jimin's hand and kissed them, gazing lovingly in his eyes, assuring him he's always here for him. They started moving their bodies together while holding each other. Taekook also came there as well as Mark and Ja with their partners. He was about to ask Van for a dance, but a girl approached him. Hi, Osuk. Oh, hi, Miss Lena. Would you like to dance with me? Actually, come on, Hoseo. She held his hand and dragged him on the floor. Hobby looked back at Van, who was standing there with her ever jealous face, which was enough for Hobby to understand that he's gonna pay for it. Van point of view. I don't know if it's right or not, but I'm feeling like pull that girl's hair and push her into the swimming pool. How can I think like this? He can dance with anyone he wants, but am I a joke to him? He could have asked me that, which is really clinging on him. How can she? He's my man, my fucking boyfriend. She took the glass of water as her heart was burning in jealousy. She stepped out from there, and Hobby also noticed it. As he saw her going out the hall, he excused himself from her and ran behind Vine. Taekook also noticed it and chuckled. How stupid they are. They think they can hide it when it's all written on their faces. They will end up together. I'm waiting for their official confession. Yoongi pulled Jimin more closer, which made his heartbeat more faster. What are you up to, Yoongi? But I'm dancing with my fiancé, who is soon going to be my husband. Jimin couldn't hide his blushing cheeks from Yoongi, who chuckled and whispered in his ear, soon to be Min Jimin. Jimin controlled his blush and looked in his eyes. But if I don't want to change my surname after our marriage? In that case, he acted like thinking something deeply and looked at him again. You'll still be mine, and as long as you're mine, it doesn't matter at all whether you change your surname or not. You have your own identity, and I don't want to force you for anything. I'm okay as long as you're beside me. Jimin smiled like he won everything on the earth. He couldn't help but hugged him tightly, wrapping his arms around his neck. Yoongi placed a kiss on his head with a smile. Man, hold on, where are you going? He called her, but she didn't look back. Hobie walked faster and held her hand. I'm asking something. Where are you going? In the middle. Just a bit tired. Why do you care? Why do I care? Do I need to remind you? Who am I? And who are you? Your boyfriend. And I? I don't care. Just go and dance with that girl. She was about to go, but Hobie hugged her from behind, smiling widely. I didn't know you can get this much jealous, Miss Fine. I'm not jealous. Is that so? He backed off the hug. I should go and dance with her. Dare to. You're my man and only I had the right to touch you like that. Hobie pulled her closer by her waist and said, looking deeply in her eyes, Your man. Anne became a bit nervous when Hobie leaned more closer to her. She closed her eyes and waited for their lips to touch. But Hobie leaned towards her ears and whispered, making her open her eyes. I'm all yours, my lady. And finally kissed on her lips more like a pig. Vine couldn't hold back and pulled him into a deep kiss. Hobie responded quickly and deepened the kiss more. Devouring the taste of each other's mouth, they went lost in the kiss. After a few minutes, both pulled out while smiling and embraced each other. Skip after 2 days. Jimin entered inside the practice room where all others were sitting already. As he looked up, his eyes met with Yoongi, who was lovingly gazing at him. He felt shy because he is facing Yoongi after 2 days. Seems like the couple needs some private time. As he said, Yoonmin broke the eye contact and Jimin walked towards them and sat beside Taeyong. Why didn't you sit beside your boyfriend, Jimin? Oh, sorry, your fiancé. And soon-to-be husband? He said in a teasing tone. Guys, stop teasing him now. Let's get back to the work. Seems like Hobie Young is kinda envious of us all. Right, Young? Why would I be? He asked confusedly. Because you are the single one here. And who said I'm single? Then show us your girlfriend. Not now. Just say that you don't have. Whatever you want. But she is really beautiful and kind. It's like Young really got a beautiful girl. Really beautiful. He once gazed at Vine, then at Hobie. After all, they all know that Hobie and Vine are secretly dating, but it's not a secret anymore. Time skip. Yoonmin is sitting in a classroom where Jimin is reading a book and Yoongi is continuously staring at him, sitting in front of him. Jimin finally gazed at him, then felt his stares on him. What? Why are you staring at me like that? I'm not staring, but admiring you. Cannot I? You should focus on your studies. Yoongi walked towards him and sat beside him. Then help me with the studies. He placed the book in front of Jimin. Teach me. Okay. He started explaining him the topic, but he was still lost in him, ignoring the things Jimin was explaining him. Jimin caught him again and said, Stop staring at me like that. You're so beautiful, Jimina. He said and tugged his hair strands behind his ear, which made him widen his eyes. What are you doing? But if others saw it, he said almost whispering. Then what? You're mine anyways. Jimin's cheeks turned blushy and he looked away. We should leave now. He stood just then. They saw Sumin coming towards them. Yoongi held Jimin's hand and was about to pass her, but she said, I wanna go home. Then go. Who stopped you? Can you please drop me home? Dad called me to come earlier. Excuse me. If you wanna go, then go by yourself. You used to act like a stranger to him, and now when we came to know, you're acting like this. Hyung, leave it. She already said sorry for all those things. Yes, Oppa, I'm feeling guilty for all my deeds. And we're a family now, so can you please drop me? She asked with her puppy eyes. Hyung, drop her home. I'll be in my class. Jimin. Hyung, after all, she's your sister-in-law. Yes, Oppa. As long as you're Jimin's fiancé, can you help me? Yoongi totally understood what she meant by that. Okay, I have a class, Hyung. Call me when you come back. Yoongi sighed when Jimin left from there. Sumin smiled at him. She knows that Jimin is innocent and she can trick him with her innocent face and words. Here, they both sat inside the car and Yoongi drove off. Soon, they stopped on the road when signal turned red. Why are you behaving like this towards me, Oppa? I said I'm sorry. Yoongi ignored her words because he knows what she is trying to do. Just then, a man with cotton candies stopped there. Oh, cotton candies! She exclaimed in excitement and almost hovered over Yoongi as the man was on the other side. Ajushi, can you please give me one cotton candy? Sumin, can you please sit on your seat? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. He sat back on his seat properly and laughed a little. Yoongi bought the candy for her and gave her. Thank you, Oppa, you're the best. She had some cotton candy, then asked Yoongi, have some, Oppa, it's really tasty. I don't like. He said coldly and started the car. And stop it all. Do you think I cannot see? I'm not like Jimin who will fall for your fake innocence. So stop it already. It's my last warning, Park Sumin. You are getting it wrong, Oppa, she said, chuckling nervously. Last warning. He got a call from Jimin. He smiled and put that on speaker. Missing me already, baby? I just called you to ask if you dropped Sumin, then can you buy me some ice cream? Anything for you, baby. Okay, drive safely. Jimin. What? Sarangyo. Jimin paused for a while and said, That's Sarangyo. As he cut the call, he glanced at Sumin, who was seeming pissed. Yoongi chuckled with a smirk on his face and focused ahead. In music room. What do you think about it? He whispered in Jungkook's ears, who nodded and signaled something to Mark. He cleared his throat and looked at Hobie. It was fun last night, right guys? Yeah, actually I was kinda drunk. But Hobie was sitting like a stone. I thought he changed his stall with Yoongi. Everyone laughed. I wasn't that drunk. But no one could say you were sober. But that's not good, Young. You called your girlfriend and didn't let us meet her? Yes, Young, we all want to meet her. He once gazed at Wine, then at them. What are you saying? I didn't call her. Then who was the girl you were kissing? Kissing? What are you saying, Mark? I didn't kiss anyone. You must be... What the hell you're talking, Mark? How could you kiss any girl, you junk so? He yelled at him in anger. Wine, I swear Bobby felt Wine hit him with a stick and he tried to escape. Why are you behaving like this, Wine? It must be his girlfriend. The hell, I'm his girlfriend and I wasn't there with him. He shouted at him. Whom did you kiss, you jerk? I swear, Wine, believe me, I didn't kiss another girl than you. Please believe me, said while escaping from Wine. Just then, they heard everyone laughed. Both looked at them confusedly. In meantime, Hobie grabbed the stick from her hands. I can't believe, Young. How could you do? I can't believe you were hiding it. What? Means we already knew you're dating. We just pranked on you. Pranked? Don't worry, Van. Young didn't kiss anyone. We just planned it because we wanted to hear a confession. Are you stupid? She hit Taeyong on his arm, who laughed. Both are stupid. We all knew you are dating. he said, coming there with Jimin. Congratulations to you too. I wanted to do it when you started dating, but we are sorry actually. We just wanted some time, guys. He can understand. See, I told you. You can end up together. So guys, it's almost at lunchtime. We should leave now. I'm craving for a coffee. Let's go then. They stepped out. Wine was about to walk, but Hobby held her hand. What? Seems like couple want some private time. Let's go, guys. Take care of yourself, Wine, he said, almost shouting, while closing the door. Wine gazed at Hobby. Why did you stop me? Don't you think you need to do something? What? Hobby pulled her on his lap and wrapped one arm around her waist. She widened her eyes while resting her both hands on his shoulder. You thought I would kiss someone else, huh? She stopped as Hobby put his thumb on her lips and dragged it down, making her teeth visible. She felt her heartbeat increased and butterflies running inside her stomach. I have a beautiful lady, Miss Vine. Don't you know? Her lips, eyes, soul, figure, and everything of her is perfect to me. So I don't need to look at any other person. He said, eye-gazing her. She smiled and felt Hobby's lips on hers. She kissed him back instantly while wrapping her arms around his neck. After a while, both pulled out and smiled widely while bopping their noses. Sarangi ho. That's Sarangi. Now let's go. Others must be waiting for us. At evening, here, Jimin and Yoongi came outside to spend some time together. But both are walking side by side while eating their ice creams. Jimin looked at Yoongi's ice cream and asked, Can I have some of yours? Sure. As he said, Jimin had the ice cream. It's tasty. Can I taste yours? Of course, he said, giving his eye smile and put his ice cream in front of him. Yoongi held his ice cream and captured Jimin's lips and backed away instantly. Jimin froze there like his soul left his body. Yoongi chuckled seeing his reaction. It tastes more better than mine. Why did you do that? It was instant, right? I should have tasted more. Are you crazy? We're in public. Yoongi handed him his ice cream. I cannot kiss you right now because we both have ice creams in our hands and they will melt. Jimin was stunned hearing his words. He was still frozen there but felt some drops on him. He looked up and saw it started raining. Yoongi held his hand and ran towards his car. They got in the car but their clothes were slightly wet. They laughed looking at each other. They thought of waiting for a few minutes to stay there as it started pouring, but it went more worse. What should we do now? If that's okay with you, then should we go to my apartment? It's the nearest one. That would be better, I guess. Yoongi drove off towards his apartment and they reached there in just 15 minutes. Time skip. Both changed their clothes and sat comfortably on the couch. Jimin called his father and told him that he is with Yoongi as the weather turned more worse. Do you want to eat something? Do you want to make something? If you say so. Some instant noodles? Sure, wait for a minute. Moved his ash towards the kitchen. Jimin too followed him behind and sat on the kitchen counter. You gonna watch me preparing it? Ani? Yoongi chuckled and wore the apron and began his work. Then he felt Jimin's eyes on him. Do I look hot working like this? He came out of his imagination and looked away, being all flustered. Yoongi walked towards him, leaving his work and stood in front of him. I love it when you're shy around me. But we're gonna be husbands soon, Jiminy. Jimin gazed at him with his blushing face and bit his lower lip not to blush more. His heart started thumping more loudly when Yoongi held his hands and stood in between his legs. He slowly cupped Jimin's face in his hands and leaned to kiss him. Both closed their eyes the moment their lips touched and started moving them slowly in a sense. Both got lost in the kiss when it turned sloopy. He tucked his hair strands behind his ears and Jimin wrapped his arms around his neck. Soon, Jimin wrapped his legs around Yoongi's waist and he picked Jimin up. Before heading out, Yoongi turned the button of the stove. Still kissing each other, they headed towards Scouts. He placed Jimin softly there and hovered over him. Jimin too pulled him more closer by his nape, not wanting to break the kiss. Soon, Yoongi traveled his lips towards his jawline, leaving his lips. He started placing wet kisses on his jawline to his earlobe, and in a moment, his lips made the way towards his neck. Jimin clenched his fists on Yoongi's shirt as it was his weakest spot. Yoongi's tongue on his skin was working like a magic. As Yoongi moved down to his collarbone, Jimin bit his lips to prevent his moan, but it came out like a whisper. He felt like his stomach was whole row of butterflies and felt a hotness spreading in him at the same time. He somehow managed to utter Yoongi's name, which came out like a whisper. Yoongi, stop, he said and bit his lower lip. Yoongi realized what he was doing and he stopped there. He once eye-gazed at him and soon sat on the couch embarrassedly, as well as Jimin. He bit his lips and closed his eyes. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. It's okay, said, judging Yoongi's situation, and smiled widely to show like it was nothing. But deep down he was feeling like scream out loud. But he thought to play it cool. It's okay. Can we sleep here now? Are you sure? Okay. Don't you want to eat anything? Aniyo, if you want you can. Well, I need to, let me bring the blanket. Yoongi ran inside the room. Jimin finally sighed in relief. Jimin point of view. Oh my god, I'm getting goosebumps. I was feeling so weird all of a sudden. His tongue on my skin. It was really feeling like heaven. No shit. I should calm myself down. I guess he was turned on. Why I stopped him? Hush. Was he really turned on? Did I do anything wrong? We are adults and also engaged. But no. The I'm thinking. Calm down, Jimin, calm down. As I'm feeling so shy now. I hope we'll sleep comfortably. It's the first time we're gonna sleep together. Heather is also romantic. I don't know why I asked him to sleep here. But I think the couch is comfy. It's really huge. I need to act normal. Normal, Jimin. Be normal. Be calm. He took a deep breath and breathed out through his mouth. Sighed. Yoongi point of view. What the I was doing? What he would be thinking of me? I'm really tired. No, I need to calm myself. I cannot make him uncomfortable with me. Swear, if he hadn't stopped me, I would have lost it. The hell. You need to behave, Yoongi. Just get a grip. Yoongi left after using washroom. If it's uncomfortable here, then we can sleep on the bed. Ani, it's actually huge. I want to cuddle with you. Yoongi chuckled with a smile and kept the blanket on the couch. Both adjusted themselves there and pulled the blanket over their bodies. Yoongi pulled Jimin closer. Meanwhile, Jimin rested his hat against his chest and smiled when a blush was spreading all over his face. He felt Yoongi kissed on his head and stroked it gently. If you feel uncomfortable, then tell me, okay? I'm all comfortable with you, he said lowly. Both drifted into sleep, cuddling into each other's arms, soaking up the warmness of their love. This morning, as Jimin opened his eyes, his gaze went on Yoongi, who was looking like a cat. He smiled and reached his hand towards his forehead. He dragged his index finger on his forehead, tugging the hair strands behind his ear. Yoongi held his hand, which made him startled. Admiring me? You were awake? I wanted to admire you more. You can, but later. Then give me a kiss for now. I didn't brush yet. I didn't either. Said sitting on the couch beside Jimin. Jimin giggled and was about to stand, but Yoongi pulled him on his lap and wrapped his hands around his belly. What are you doing, Young? Leave me. What if I don't want to? Young! He wiggled in his embrace while giggling, but stopped when he felt something hard touching his ankle. Yoongi too noticed it and loosened his grip on his belly. The moment they were enjoying a few seconds ago became awkward and embarrassing in an instant. Jimin instantly got up from his lap. I need to freshen up, he said and immediately ran inside the room. Yoongi point of view. What the is happening with me? Shit. Why it's becoming more and more awkward? It sometimes happens, but why in front of him? Why these embarrassing moments are happening when he is around? My god. Skip. I need to do something as soon as possible. Let's play the game now. What will you do? The pictures. Send him. I know it will work. Okay, as you say. Jimin and Yoongi are practicing in music room. Others are busy attending their lectures. Young, can we change it a little bit? Which part? This one. I wrote it here. Okay, let me play. Yoongi sat against the piano and ran his fingers on the keyboard. A beautiful melody, and he added more emotions with a mixture of high and low octave. Stopped when someone called Jimin's name. Jimin stood and saw a boy with an envelope in his hand. It's for you, Jimin. He handed him over the envelope and ran before Jimin could ask him anything. Jimin once glanced at the envelope, then at Yoongi. Who was he? I don't know. He sat there by Yoongi and opened the envelope, found some pictures. His eyes became numb when he saw. What happened? He took those pictures from Jimin and saw it was Yoongi in a car and a girl was hovering over him. The angle was making it look like they were kissing. Anger rushed in his veins because he knew who the girl is. But Jimin was more important than anything else for him at the time. He held Jimin's hand and said in a calm tone, Minnie, it's nothing like these pictures are showing. I know. He said looking in his eyes, but a pain was visible in his eyes like something was hurting him. Yoongi cupped his face and looked worriedly at him. Why? Your eyes are numb. You know I cannot do this, right? I know. I trust you and I know who's this girl. He said when tears left his eyes. I thought she's changed. Thought she accepted me as her brother, but I was wrong, yo. Yoongi pulled him into a hug without saying anything. He kissed his head. Don't think about her, Jiminy. Just remember, I'm always here with you. Your friends and the one who loves you are with you, by your side. He kept on blowing soothing words in his ears while stroking his head. After a while, Jimin calmed down a little. Yoongi gave a slight peek on his forehead. Oh, what's going on, huh? They heard a cheerful voice and found fine. She walked towards them with a smile, but her smile fell into shakes when she gazed at Jimin's eyes. What happened to you? Did you cry? He didn't answer. Then she looked at Yoongi, who handed her the pictures. She looked at them, then at Yoongi like questioning. It's Yoonmin. What? The pictures are taken in an angle to look like I'm kissing her. I believe she's still using these kind of tricks. She shook her head in disbelief when anger was rushing into her. It's enough actually. I need to take care of her bitchy behavior. I'll handle her myself, Ryan. No, Pa. She's getting on my nerves now. No, Ryan. Just leave her be. Just holding it because of you, Appa. Otherwise, you can accept her as a sister, but she cannot. I wish she wasn't my sibling. She uttered the last line, going out of there as she was pissed. Yoongi once looked at Jimin and sighed heavily. He wants to teach Sumin a lesson, but holding himself back just because of Jimin. Time skip. Did you call me, Uppa? Yes. Anything urgent? Didn't I ask you to stop your bitchy acts? She looked at him innocently. No, that's a decent Pak Sumin. Don't trigger my patience. You're crossing the threshold level now. Just get one thing clearly inside your head. I only love Pak Jimin. If I saw him suffering ever because of you, I'll show you how far I can go. After 1 week, Jimin's behavior changed in this 1 week. He started ignoring Yoongi, which was hurting him. He knew the reason behind his changing behavior, but he knew Jimin needs some time to understand it all. He isn't weak, just emotional. That makes him take time to acknowledge. Do you know what's happening in between Jimin and Yoongi? Jimin is behaving strangely lately. Sumin is still creating scenes. What's that? When told him everything happened, Hobie was disappointed but not surprised because he is aware of her nature. It's not Yoongi's fault at all. Then why is he ignoring him? He knows it. He thinks that keeping distance from Yoongi can make Sumin happy. Why he's even thinking about her? Yoongi loves him and that's what's important. Vine sighed. Can I ask you something personal? Vine nodded. Are you and Sumin really siblings? What type of question is this? I mean, you both are a bit too different. Jimin loves her, but it's not actually like that, Hobie. It was nothing like the things turned out now. It's just some misunderstandings. What's that mean? Sumin used to love Jimin Oppa. What? We three used to spend most of the time together when we were twins. Sumin and Oppa were really close, but then Sumin went into an accident. Jimin Oppa also got injured saving her. She lost the memory of that accident and Mom made her believe that Jimin wanted to harm her. Mrs. Park? I cannot even tell the things she did. She created the misunderstanding in between them, but Oppa never protested. And it made Sumin ended up hating him. That's not offensive, but it's way too much now. Vi nodded and intertwined her hand with Hobie while smiling softly. He smiled back to her and started walking. Time skipped. Here Yoongi was alone practicing guitar in the music room. He sighed and picked up his phone, dialed Jimin's number, but didn't get any response. I don't know where this boy is for 2 days. Didn't even message me or picked up my call. Then a boy knocked there and came in. Someone is asking for you in the corridor, Yoongi. Who? I don't know, but he said he wants to talk about your band. Okay. Yoongi stood and walked out of the room. After a few seconds, someone entered there and looked for Yoongi's phone, which was kept there on the piano. The person unlocked it and did the work and left immediately. Timescape. Jimin was tossing and turning in the bed while muddling up with his thoughts. He was again and again looking on the phone screen where Yoongi's message was popping. I want to talk to you. Meet me at that bar tonight at 8. I'll be waiting for you there. Should I go to meet him? After fighting with his thoughts, Jimin got up and went to get ready as it was already 7. He came out of the room and walked downstairs and came across Vine. Huh? Where are you going? Going to meet Yoongi at the bar. Okay. Call me if you need anything. Yep, take care. Jimin left hurriedly from there, and here Vine came in the kitchen to grab something to eat. After eating, she stepped towards her room. Then she heard a voice. She frowned and stopped. She saw Sumin talking to someone. She had ignored it, but hearing Jimin's name, she halted there and peeked and heard her talking to someone and called. Yes, Jimin, you know what you have to do, right? Everything should be done clearly. Understood? Spike his drink and be careful with every step. My plan can be ruined if you came to know. Okay. Payment will be transferred to you after the work is done. Cut the call and turned. Vine immediately hid herself and tried to process about what she was talking. Then she recalled that Jimin went to a bar to meet Yoongi. She widened her eyes when she interconnected everything. She wanted to talk to Sumin, but right now, Jimin was more important. She immediately ran towards her room and dialed Yoongi's number, who didn't pick. Then, she dialed Hobie's number while heading out of her room. Hobie picked up her call. Hobie, listen, I'm sending you an address. Please reach there as soon as possible, please. What happened, Vine? You're seeming tensed. We don't have much time, Hobie. Jimin's life is in danger. What? What happened to him? He got up from his bed and, without thinking twice, pulled his car key. Then she told him what she heard. It might take me a while, but please reach there. Don't worry, I'm heading out. Did you inform Yoongi? I called, but he didn't pick up. Okay, I'll call him. Please, Hobie, reach there as soon as possible. They cut the call and left for the club where Jimin went. There, Jimin was sitting on a seat at a corner. Usually, this club is crowded, and Jimin once came here with Yoongi. He checked his watch and looked around. Waiter came and offered him drink. Jimin took the glass as he was feeling a bit thirsty. Jimin's point of view. Where is Yoon? He asked me to reach on time and didn't come himself. That cat. Did he forget to come? Should I give a ring and ask him? I pulled out my phone and looked at the screen. I don't know why, but I'm feeling dizzy all of a sudden. I shook my head to clear my vision. I looked for Yoongi's number, but before I could dial, someone tapped on my shoulder. I looked beside, hoping Yoongi, but it's not him. You are Park Jimin, right? Yes. Who are you? Why did you ask? I'm feeling a headache, but I need to open my eyes. Min Yoongi is your boyfriend, right? He's waiting for you. Yoongi? Where is he? He is waiting for you. Follow me. Okay. I don't know why I'm feeling so weird and my head is also spinning. Where the hell is Yoongi? If he was already here, then why didn't call me earlier? Gosh, my head. I somehow followed that guy who led me to a room. As I entered there, I saw 3 men, but I was not able to see their faces clearly as my vision was turning blurry. I blinked my eyes again and again and realized that the other guy left the room. I felt uneasy and walked towards the door with wobbling steps when one of the guys held me. Pushed him with all my force and tried to stand properly, but I was feeling so weak all of a sudden. Then I felt a pull and found that I landed on the bed. I tried to open my eyes, but I felt like it was turning all dark. All I could think was about Yoongi. Where are you, Hyun? His eyes closed and some tears left his eyes as he knew there something horrible is going to happen. The man in that room looked at Jimin's unconscious figure and slowly stepped towards him. Is he unconscious? Yes. Should we do our work? What's the rush, dude? Cannot you see how much beautiful this figure is? What's with that look? Can I just taste him? He said with a smirk on his face and dusty eyes on Jimin's figure. We didn't come here for this bastard. This is something else. Are you gay? I'm not, but I'm feeling so looking at this figure. Cute. If I had known, I would have f***ed you earlier. Have you ever looked at yourself? How pathetic. Don't waste time here. We need to do what she told us, and boss will kill you if you're gonna tell him. Just do fast whatever you want, he said, lighting up his cigarette. The man stepped towards Jimin's lying figure with his lusty gaze. He got on the bed and opened the buttons of his shirt and threw it away. Then he reached his hand towards Jimin's shirt and opened the first 3 buttons while hovering over him. He leaned towards his neck and was about to bite, but flinched when heard the loud sound of door opening. The other man there too looked at the door and found 2 boys. Those are none other than Hobie and Jack. Both went towards them without giving a second chance. Jack punched a man's face who directly landed on the floor and immediately ran towards Jimin's laying figure. He immediately pulled out his coat and covered Jimin's exposed chest. And there, Hobie was fighting with those men. 2 men were fighting with him. One was laying on the ground due to Jack's punch, which made his mouth bleed. And another one was just standing there. He was about to run but stopped when found another guy came there blocking his way, who is none other than Yoongi. Yoongi gazed around the mess and without thinking twice, he punched that guy in front of him. He ran towards Jimin and tried to wake him up, but he was unconscious. Then his eyes fell on Jimin's shirt, which was covered with Jack's coat but exposed when he tried to wake him up. His blood boiled. Who did this to him? All went silent. I'm asking who tried to touch him. He pointed at the man who tried to harass Jimin. Yoongi went towards the guy and punched on his face. He again punched and knocked him off on the wall. The other 3 men ran from there as they got the chance. Leave me, He wiggled and tried to free himself from Yoongi's grip. He pushed Yoongi with all his force and pulled out a knife. "Let me go, otherwise I'll stab this knife in your chest. You do you think you can escape?" Yoongi was foaming in anger and stepped towards him, who came ahead to attack him. But Hobie came in between and held his wrist, but he defended himself, and the knife gave a deep cut on Hobie's hand, and blood started flowing instantly. Yoongi and Jack widened their eyes. The man startled and backed away, but Yoongi punched him hard that the knife fell apart. Here, Jack held Hobie's hand and covered it with a snow rag, and there Yoongi was punching that man like a punching bag. In meantime, Taekook and Vine reached there with security guards and the manager of the club. The guard stopped Yoongi and held that man, whose nose was bleeding. Here, Vine immediately held Hobie's hand and covered it with her scarf. "Hobie, we need to rush to hospital. Let's go. Blood is flowing continuously." "I'll handle here everything, Mr. John. Please, you go to the hospital." "You'll go with Young. I'll stay with Jimin." "That's a good idea. Please be quick, guys," she said, almost tearing up with a worried tone. "Yoongi, we are going. Take Jimin with you, okay?" he said and left for hospital. Here, the guards took that guy with them, and the manager asked Yoongi and Tai to stay there for as long as they want, and also left. Yoongi sat on the bed beside Jimin's sleeping figure and sighed. He caressed his hair. "They didn't do anything to him, right, Young?" "Annie, Hobie and Jack reached on time." "Is Hobie and Young's wound deep?" "I don't know, it all happened so sudden that I couldn't process anything." "Thank God. Jimin is safe. I was so scared when Vine called us and asked to reach here." "What's going on, Young?" "It was Somin's plan." "What? You mean this all? But why?" "Because of her obsession over me. I warned her, but seems like she didn't get that." "It's so mean of her, Young. How could she harm her own brother?" "Stepbrother. Still, look at Vine, who is always considerate about Jimin, and that little brat. She crossed her limits, Young. Come, let's take Jimin to my apartment," he said, cutting him off because he knows how and what to do now. Soon they left from there, taking Jimin with them. On the other side, Vine is sitting beside Hobie, who is sitting on the hospital bed. Doctor treated his wound and covered it with a band-aid. Cut is kinda deep, but there wasn't much blood lost. "I'm sorry, Hobie. You got injured because of me." "Silly. Why are you blaming yourself, huh? Jimin isn't just your brother, but my friend also. And it's not that serious, see? I'm alive and fine." "I was so scared when I saw you bleeding like that. Come here," he lovingly told her and stretched his arms for a hug. She hugged him softly, melting in his embrace. "Please don't make that mistake again." "I won't. And if you did, I'll kill you myself." Both pulled out the hug and found Yoongi and others. They walked inside. Yoongi took a pillow and hit on Hobie's arm. "Who told you to be stupid there, huh? But if something had happened to you?" He again hit him with the pillow. Hobie covered his bicep to defend himself. "You cannot hit me like that. And I'm all fine." "I was scared to death when Hobie called me all of a sudden. I called you all in case I get late there, so you could save Jimin." "Are you gonna report them, Yoongi?" "First, I need to do something." "Did they catch the other guys?" "I talked to the manager and asked him to keep it a secret for now. They will be punished for sure, but not now." "Is Jimin alright, Oppa?" He's sleeping. I took him to my house." "Okay guys, we should leave now." "They discharged you?" Okay, thank you so much, guys. Anytime, Yoongi. After all, we are all friends. Vine and Hobie, come, I'll drop you home." They all left. Next day, Jimin opened his eyes with a massive pain in his forehead. He held his head and sat on the bed, finding himself in Yoongi's room. Looking around, his gaze went on Yoongi, who was sleeping on the couch. He remembered some scenes of last night and called Yoongi, who woke up immediately and ran towards him. "Young, I was in the club. Did you take me here?" "Yes, I did." "Who were those men, Young? First you tell me, why did you go there?" "What? You asked me to meet you, that's why I went there. Me? When did I ask you? What are you saying, Young? You messaged me, that's why I went there. But I didn't message you anything like that, Jimin. You didn't even pick my calls and I just messaged you to ask if you're alright. But I got message from you, Young. He took out his phone and unlocked it, then showed the message he got from Yoongi. Yoongi took his phone in his hand, surprisingly reading the text. How is this possible? He pulled out his phone and checked when found not even a single message Jimin received from his phone. Then he recalled that he went out of the music room for a while when that guy came, and his phone was also there in the room. Someone texted you through my phone when I wasn't around. What? Who? Probably Suman. What are you saying, Young? Why would she do that? Can you still not get it, Jimin? She doesn't want us to be together and she's doing everything possible to separate us. What? His eyes went numb and heart was ashen. But how did you find that something was up to? Yoongi told him all the things happened last night. Jimin was shocked but hurt. Tears started gathering in his eyes. He wasn't weak but was feeling hurt and miserable at the same time. Should we end it here, Young? What? This relation, dare to say that, Park Jimin. How many times I should repeat it, Jimin? I only love you. I never looked at anyone the way I look at you. And I can't help it. I want you to be strong for us, Jimin. Don't ever think I'll let you leave me. He hugged Jimin tightly. Why, Young? Why she hate me this much? It doesn't matter if that one person loves you or not, Jimin. Just look around and focus on those who truly love you. Okay? He cupped Jimin's face, breaking the hug and kissed on his lips. Hey, stop it, I didn't brush yet. He said, backing away, but Yoongi multiple times peeked on his lips. Skip. Here Sumin is again and again checking her phone, waiting for a call. Why they didn't call yet? They must have done their work, right? Then her phone buzzed and she picked up immediately. Why did you take so long? Have you done the work? Yes, meet me at that place. I'll be waiting for you there. Okay, I'm coming. She got up and immediately left. She reached the place. As she went inside, she halted when found Yoongi, Taeguk, Hobie-wan, Mark and Jack. She gulped looking at them all as she sensed something was off. Welcome, Sumin. You all? Wait, are you surprised that you got caught? What are you saying? Enough, Sumin. Don't act virtuous. You all know what you did. I gave you the last chance, Sumin. But it's wrong of you that you lost it. I didn't do anything. If you didn't do anything, then why are you here, Sumin? He said coming there. Sumin was more surprised and shocked seeing him there. Wait, are you surprised how come I here? I simply cannot understand, Sumin. Why you hate me this much? Why you're playing these tricks to get me down? Yes, I play tricks. Then what, huh? It's not like you are righteous. You always act like you're decent, but you are not actually. You might be not decent, but not even a slayer like you. How can you do something so vulgar with your brother? Even his step. How can you ask some man to hurt him physically? How? What are you saying? The thing you asked those men to do with Jimin. Why, huh? Just to get what doesn't belong to you? What are you trying to say? What they did, I just asked them to take some pictures of him with a man sleeping so that I can use them to show Yoongi that Jimin cheated on him, right? Even if you didn't want them to take advantage of his physique, still, it's illicit and offensive, Sumin. How many times I've told you that Yoongi doesn't love you and you cannot force him? Can you be a little rational, Sumin? She bursted out loudly. Why you always take his side, Oni? Because you never give the reason, Sumin. And why do you hate him? Wait, just because mom said he tried to harm you? He did. Do you remember that accident, Sumin? Even a bit. You don't, right? Then how can you believe that he tried to hurt you? Have you ever asked him? You just believed mom blindly. I was there, Sumin. I saw that accident. I saw how how he risked his own life to save you. Well, he was badly injured, Sumin. He was hospitalized and you don't even know because mom never told you. Leave that. Just tell me who was the one who protected us, who fought for us and was always there when we needed. It was always him. He loved us more than anyone could do and still loves. Why cannot you see? Sumin was all silent when some tears unknowingly left her eyes. Do you know, he was ready to sacrifice his love for you, just for you so that you can be happy. How can you hurt that angel, Sumin? How come you are this heartless to the person who did everything possible to see you smile? She wiped her tears that were flowing without her consent. How can you come in between two souls? I wish, Sumin, you were not my sister. Only, she muttered and tried to hold her hand, but she moved back. Hobby, let's go. I don't want to stay here. Hobby held her hand and they left. Sumin looked at Jimin and walked towards him. Oppa? Jimin didn't react anything and walked towards the door but said before heading out, I thought you accepted me, but you broke my trust. Then they all left, leaving Sumin alone. She fell on her knees when the reality hit her that she really hurt Jimin without knowing the truth. She gazed around and found herself alone. She finally realized what she actually lost, and all she could do was now regret. Still, Hobby walked inside the college with his as usual charm. Someone tapped on his shoulder and he turned back only to find 3 unknown boys. He frowned. Yes? Can you tell where we can find Park Sumin? Park Sumin? Do you have any work with her? Yes. Oh, well, you can find her in block 3, second floor. The 3 left immediately. How rude. Didn't even thank me. He shook his head and walked when Jimin called him from behind. Hi, Young. Oh, hi, Jimin. Are you alright? That's what I should ask. How's your hand now? Will take time to recover, but I'm fine. Well, who were those boys? I don't know. They were looking for Sumin. Sumin? Didn't even thank me. How rude some people are. They were seeming like outsiders. Jimin stopped there when Hobby was still walking. He looked back and asked, What happened? Why did you stop? They were outsiders. Why are you asking? Sumin must knew them. Young, I'm going. Where? Jimin immediately ran towards Sumin's classroom. Hobby was left there dumbfounded. He walked towards his classroom where other friends were already there.